Okay, let's get into it. CPI news data comes out in 40 seconds, so let's see what it ends up doing. Yeah, let's see. I personally think it's gonna be bearish. I think it's gonna be bearish. That's what I'm betting on the news. Daily bias. I'm still sell bias nonetheless. Let's see. I just want to look on the smaller time frame. I always like to look at it. Who knows? Maybe it may be bearish. Maybe it won't. I think it is. I think it may be bearish for the day. Oh, I'm wrong. um. Oh. Uh, just focus on the percent. Okay, never mind. We're gonna be bullish. Nonetheless. um. With that being said, my overall bias today, before CPI, it was sells due to us breaking daily structure to the downside, but primarily it depends on CPI. Typically, if I mean I was back testing this, but if the move is above a 0.3% move, which we opened at 0.44, it'll continue to rally that way for the day. So for even right now, we're gonna wait around an hour to let price settle before actually going in and doing anything. I do still have an if bias. Of course, I still think we could. I never said it, but I think we could make a retracement for this daily for value gap right here to the upside. But of course, if price action does whatever it does, you know, I think we can still see that potential move to the downside as well. So I have two biases. Yes, you know, I'm mainly playing off what market provides for the day. If I'm being completely honest, this that was more than a strong enough CPI move. Nonetheless, yeah, yeah. We're going to wait a minute. We're gonna get a feel for what the market's trying to do, and then we will come back once market gives not clear price action, because yes, we understand we're bullish, but once it stops doing whatever it's doing with CPI, we'll come back, and I will see you in a second. By the way, this is how weekly is looking. So it is rejecting off that weekly fair value gap. Will it do it today? I don't know, but who knows? Yeah, that's it. I will see you guys in a minute. I just realized I didn't like fully explain why I'm so biased. Did I? I think I did. I don't know. Nonetheless, daily broke structure to the downside. Yesterday we also broke daily structure to the downside. And yeah, typically, yes, I am so biased. But if price action rallies for the day and goes bullish, you know, you got to react to price action. You know, you can't force a set bias. Would I like to see price action go bearish for the day? Yeah, I think that would be great. I wrote it in my game plan. Wait to see bearish news data for extra confluence. I would love to see that. Right now, we are within a massive 4-hour imbalance, fair value gap. I could stretch it all the way down here, but this is hourly right here. Depending how this candle closes, you know, we could see, because yeah, we could just see. So like I said, I just wanted to like give a breakdown to why I am bearish, but I understand why we also could be bullish too. So that's why we're simply gonna sit here, wait for price action to chill for a minute, see what it wants to do, have it speak to us. I also wrote down, remember, I also wrote down a reminder for me to remember to only execute a trade if it's screaming at you to execute on it. If it's, kind of half, a maybe execution, forget it. Price action has to give you a reason in order for you to go into the trade and be like, okay, we're placing this position, right? So, that's just for extra confluence. I don't know, psychological confluence. Nonetheless, we're going to sit here and wait, and I just want to record that a little bit. But now I'll actually see you. Well, I say I see you in the next clip, in every clip. So I'll see you in the next clip. So we're still here. Let me break down my thought process. It is now 6 a.m., so it's been almost 40 minutes after CPI news data. I did want to see a retracement for this 15-minute fair value gap. Currently, if I look to get into this, I like how price action is looking with the sell to the downside. This high on 5-minute got taken out. I mean, I'm sure it was a high on 1 minute too, yeah. Nonetheless, if we do enter, due to us not having closed below here, I would like to see if we did. I'm not saying we are, but this, I can't think right now. This high being taken out, which it did, and then break structure to the downside. Yeah, on a more micro time frame, but we're still being patient on this due to just everything in CPI. But you can see price action looks a lot different on the other charts compared to Oanda. I can't stand Oanda sometimes. I don't know why they can't just have normal charts like everyone else. It's so annoying. Nonetheless, we got these janky charts, but we're going to continue to wait and be patient with price action and see what it wants to do. I think maybe you can even make a more potential move into the fair value gap before possibly making that move to the downside, but nonetheless, gonna sit in our hands, be patient, and yeah, just be patient for our setup in order to execute. But apart from that, that's a little checkup. This whole price action is looking. Daily, 4 hour, 1 hour, bam. So there you go. Be back in a minute. Alright, what up? Now, our other and if bias is happening. Nonetheless, yeah, so I'm assuming this fair value gap is going to get invalidated by the way it's looking. Obviously, no, I'm just saying that sarcastically. Nonetheless, with that being said, unless we still validate it, but how price action is looking, or and if bias, the only way we would be looking for buys within, I can't think, within, on gold today would be a 15-minute broke structure to the upside. Really, what I was actually like really waiting for when price action was somewhere down here was a 15-minute break of structure to the downside, not as an execution point, just as confluence, because that would have helped hourly push a little bit lower and close below this low. But nonetheless, I just want to like pop it and say that because this is my thought process. Would I like to see 15-minute reject off of this for value gap? Yeah. Do I think it could? Not really. But, who knows what I know? I may be wrong. Nonetheless, if we do see anything, like I said, I'm still waiting for that significant break of structure, even if it's all the way down here or even up here to the upside, right? But yeah, just wanted to like pop it and say that. So unless price starts consolidating, we're not obviously not going to look for any positions today. There's no need to force any trades, but want to see what CPI gives us, if it gives us anything. No need to force anything though, but this is still our like mini thought process. We would like to see 15-minute close and validate this fair value gap if we're still pushing lower, but if we're not, then we'll close above it and continue pushing higher, possibly. So we'll see what happens in the next 1 minute and 40 seconds. I'm deciding, should I stay recording for a minute 40 seconds or should I cut the recording? We'll cut the recording. Okay, so we did get into a position for the sell to the downside on gold. I was going to wait until 5 minute, but not that I'm practicing executing on 1 minute, but I'm getting used to executing on 1 minute, and I just liked the entry on 1 minute a little bit more, especially with the stop loss being above the 15-minute fair value gap. That's what I was really like on about, how I want like a validating stop loss. And nonetheless, we entered this position on gold with this one. I just plotted out on 1 minute. Of course, it was on 5 minute as well. It was a liquidity sweep and then the break structure to the downside, which was on this candle. You can't see because the stupid risk reward tool pops up. I need to like adjust our TPs and whatnot. But yeah, apart from that, that's the trade. Let's go and target draws liquidity. So for extra confluence, we would want to see this 15-minute break structure to the downside. We did reject off of this 15-minute fair value gap retracement, and that gave us our extra confluence in order to take this position. Let's set that there. Second TP there, and then third. I'm not gonna have like any extendo clip take profits. I can't drag this position size thingy down. Nonetheless, we're gonna see how the trade plays out, and actually I'll stay on for another minute just so we can get some extra confirmation from 15-minute closing. First TP is 0.8, a second TP 1.24, third TP 2.2. So not bad. Nonetheless, let's stay on for another 40 seconds and see what happens. I want to see hourly draws liquidity. Those are hourly draws liquidity. I think that's valid. We got some valid TPs for the day. I think so. Do you think so? I mean, I hope our TPs are valid. Nonetheless, I'm really surprised we validated this 15-minute fair value gap. At first, I thought we weren't. Then I went on other charts to double check and see. And it's crazy how different these other charts look. It's insane. Blows my mind. But actually focusing on the 15-minute fair value gap, yeah, I went and double checked every chart, and every chart did validate the 15-minute fair value gap. So nonetheless, that's that. I'll see you guys. Well, we may hit TP1 in a minute, but nonetheless, well, I would like to hope we hit TP1 in a minute. I mean, I would like to hope we hit all TPs. Nonetheless, I'll see you guys in a bit, depending on what happens if price reverses or if we end up hitting all TPs. Okay, so TP1 was hit. If I had a Discord or a Signals group, which Signals group is gay, Discord is a cool idea, I think. But I would say you could take 0.33% of your position off. For me, I'm not setting stops to break even until we hit TP2. But apart from, well, I guess we're gonna set stops to break even. Nonetheless, yeah. So TP1 got hit. TP2, we're gonna see what happens with it, and we'll see if we hit TP3. We'll manage our position once TP if TP2 gets hit. Yeah. Yeah, that's really it. And we'll come back in a minute and see, does price reverse? Does it do whatnot? What does it do, right? So be back in a minute, and I will see you in a minute. That's what I just said. That's what I just said. Bam. So yes, price is reversing. Nonetheless, we do have stops at break even. I have not taken partials, which doesn't really bother me, but we're gonna see, you know, are we gonna get stopped at a break? This, nonetheless, is a good position. Well, entry-wise, those two things right. I'm trying to like go into the recap mindset right now, like what we did right, what we did wrong, what we could have done better. Nonetheless, I know I'm pretty sure we got stopped at a break. Still, TP1, TP2 got hit. This was still a win, even though I didn't take partials. I should have taken partials, but I didn't. But let's go in and recap it. So what happened during the trade, why it happened, and yeah, I'm gonna quickly go in and double check my positions, make sure I'm out at break even, and I will be back in like a minute. So now with the trade recap, bam, let's get into it. I did enter a second position. We did get stopped out on that. Nonetheless, let's get into it. Breakdown what, why, how, what happened, everything of the sort. My bias is still bearish. Nonetheless, I mean, nothing's changing about my bias. But entries wise, I realized that one of our positions did get stopped out at break even. The second one did not. So we still had that one running. And I was like, you know what? Okay, we're making pushback down. On a minute time frame, another liquidity sweep break structure. So the downside appeared, we executed on it, and price chopped for a minute before reversing. Nonetheless, yeah. So let's recap this. TP1, TP2 were hit, so clearly something went right along those lines. Let's go in and let's break it down, really. So we took this trade following overall daily bias, so to the downside, broke daily structure to the downside, and for our macro hourly to the downside as well. Going on hourly, we had a fair value gap within here that I'm assuming CPI rejected off of. I have no idea. That was an hourly fair value gap. CPI news data was bullish, so nonetheless, going down to 15-minute, this is where we actually got our execution for entry, and it's funny because we just got stopped out at break even before price making its overall move. No, we're not gonna re-enter. We're not gonna do anything. We're gonna sit on our hands and we're not gonna do anything. That is annoying, kind of, but you know, I always think about it like, what if price were to have continued higher? Then you would have been happy you got out, right? So you really got to kick out the emotion. Nonetheless, 15-minute provided a fair value gap, price retrace into it, and didn't start rejecting until maybe 10-15 minutes after. So we got execution on 1 minute, liquidity sweep, break structure to the downside. That was our execution point. And then we set our take profits at hourly, draws liquidity, bam, bam, bam. What happened? That's what happened during the trade. What went right? Our execution went absolutely beautifully. Did we set our stops to break even? Yes. You know, that's part of our, for me, that's what I said. You know, once TP2 is hit, gonna set stops to break even just because. And that's exactly what we did. And even now, we got stopped out by a pip. And now price is back down here, but whatever. Whatever. So with that being said, followed overall market structure, had multiple time frame confluence, daily, 4 hour, 1 hour, 15 and 5, and even 1 minute. So all confluence time frames. We did take a minute, you know, we follow our CPI news data rules, took a step back, and just let the market play out before actually executing. And so, yeah, that was really that. I would sometimes I understand it's hard to follow your rules. You got to follow your rules. Um, and nonetheless, yeah, that's really it. I wish I could say a little bit more than that. We followed our rules, we followed our execution rules, and even our not take profit, adjusting our, managing our trade position as well. So, if you ask me, I mean, still beautiful position. TP1, TP2 are hit. That's all that matters. Unfortunately, the rest get stopped. They get stopped out at break even, and then the rest did get just stopped out in general. That was a 2.7K loss around that area. But we were up and floating. We were up around 5, so it was, yeah. On CPI day, now that I'm thinking of it, maybe we could trail our SL. Maybe it doesn't need to, depending on our entries too, of course. Could have gone above this fair value gap here because, funnily enough, we did reject off this fair value gap, which is what price action did. And even now, like I said, my bias is still bearish. I still think we're going to continue pushing down for the day. Most likely hit TP3. But other than that, that was the trade recap. Hope you guys enjoyed. I love you guys. Thank you for watching, and I will see you when I see you. Probably not going to be uploading for a minute. I'm going to be out of town, but I'm going to see what I can upload. Comment anything you guys want to see. And apart from that, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace. I love you guys.